Well, welcome to Demo 4. In Demo 4, we're going to cover copying and pasting cells and what's in those cells, inserting rows. We're going to look at number formatting, including dates, and we're going to look at adding borders around our cells. So let's say I'm responsible for keeping track of attendance for each one of these students, and I'm going to use another sheet for that. So I'm going to copy and paste the students' names onto another sheet. So I'm going to start here with A3, select down to A11. I can use my copy icon up here or just do a Control-C. Go to a new sheet. I'm going to go to sheet number 2. Notice we're moving backwards here. I've been using sheet number 3. Really doesn't matter. I'm going to show you later how to move those around. So I'm going to go to sheet number 2, and in the A1 cell I'm going to paste, which is an Apple V. And notice you might have to do some changing. So let's format this by increasing the size of our column. Double click. Let's look at deleting and inserting rows. I'm going to select row 1, 2, and 3. Notice I have a black arrow that allows me to do that. It selects the entire row all the way across the spreadsheet. And I'm going to delete that row. So I click on delete, and automatically the rows are deleted and everything moves up into the position from A1 now to A6. If I wanted to insert a row, basically just reverse that process. Just a matter of select how many rows I want to insert. If I want to insert 1, I just select 1 row. If I want to insert 2, I select 2 rows. Let's do that. And I'll hit insert, and then I've got my rows. Another way of doing the row insertion is just to be in a cell that I want to insert a row for, and go to insert, and on the pull down, do I want to insert a cell? Do I want to insert a row? Do I want to insert a column? You know, the choice is yours. So I'm going to insert another row, and so a third row now appears. And in A1, I'm going to put CIS 120L attendance. I'm going to format that a little bit larger, and then again I'm going to merge just across 4 cells, merge and center that information. Now in B3 I want to put the date. So I'm going to put the first date of the class, the first day of the class, which was 9/26/2011. Hit my enter key, and notice it changes to 9/26/11. That's known as a short date. And I want to keep putting dates across that row, row 3. So again, I use my fill handle, and dates are numbers, so it recognizes dates and sequence. So there's the 27th, and so on and so forth. So let's keep going across. I'll go all the way across to M, and there I have my dates. Unfortunately, for this particular scenario, it's including the weekends. Here's October 1st and October 2nd. I don't want to include the weekends. I just want the weekdays because that's when I have the students. So on this option pull down here on the autofill, notice I get a larger variety of things that I can choose from now. I'm not just copying cells or filling the series, but now it recognizes dates, so there's more things I can do. So notice one of my choices is fill in the weekdays. So I click on that, fill in the weekdays, and notice no more October 1st or 2nd. October 3rd is in the G column, and that's the new Monday of the new week as it moves along. So we go over to 7, we don't have an 8 and a 9, starts on the 10th, which is another Monday. Number formatting and date formatting follow the same routine. Notice up here in the number group, under that pull down we have date. Well, I can change the date look if I want to, and to do so, go to Format, Cells, go to Number, and notice under Date I have a lot of different formats that I could choose for this particular set of dates. To the one where it's the month and the day, and got to be careful that I don't choose the month and the year. This would be month and year right here. I want the month and the day. So I'm going to choose this one right here. The format is put the day first and the month second. And there we have it. 26th of September and so on and so forth. A little easier to read and recognize what day and what month we're in. One of the things I want to show you here is, let's say I wanted to get fancy. Let's say I got fancy and I wanted everything. So I go Cell, Day, and I want everything. I want to see the whole thing. March. I want to see the day of the week and the date itself. So I'm going to hit OK, and it just automatically pushes everything wide for that situation. That's really not what I wanted, but I just wanted to show you what happens sometimes when you pick something that you think is going to work for you, but in the long run it may not, because all I'm doing is checking attendance. You know, are they here? Were they absent? Are they partially absent? So that's all I'm doing here. Let's go back to the other sheet, and we're going to select our grades. Oh yeah, remember what I did? All I have to do is hit grades up here and it automatically selects it. I don't have to click or drag. Once again, I want to work with these numbers, and it's just as easy for numbers just to go here and say, okay, what do I want them to be? If I wanted them to be currency, I click on that and then dollars and cents would show up. I can change the decimal points by decreasing the decimal points, so it's just full dollars, or increasing the decimal points. Increasing the decimal points. Notice when I get to the width of the column, it automatically moves the column widths across to accommodate, but notice when I decrease, it keeps that column width. So there is one of the disadvantages of doing that. In fact, I have to go in and change all of my column widths now. If I double click, it'll automatically widen each one of those columns. Remember, to the widest thing. Well, I didn't want currency. Watch what happens when I change currency to accounting. Accounting moves the dollar sign out to the left-hand side. And accounting also keeps track of zeros differently. Let's give Donald here a 0 for that score. See what happens with accounting. Notice it puts a dash there instead of the number 0. You just see a dash. So I'm going to undo that. Didn't mean to do that. I'm going to take them back to general numbers. Oh, notice I forgot to select the whole thing. So I'm going to hit the grades and go back to general numbers. Now I'm going to add some lines. I'm going to do some border control here of my text. So I'm going to select A5 to F5, and I'm going to use the borders to put some lines around this information. Under Format, Cells, so this particular dialog box becomes very useful for us. We go to Borders. I can outline my cells. There's a quick outline, but what that does is just put the border around the cells. Notice, and since they're slanted, notice what happened to this guy out here. This one in F5 moves out there. Kind of odd. So it might be better for us to take these words and take them back so they're not slanted. Again, cells. Let's go to alignment, and I want to undo that. I just want to set them up straight again. So there we go. That's a little better. There's my border. Doesn't look so strange now. So I can set up a border like that. Select my cells once again. Format cells. I can use, under border, I can use inside as well. So outside and inside takes care of each cell having its own border around itself. Let's widen that row a little bit. Remember, we had student name formatted for center vertically and horizontally. These over here aren't. So let's change them to center, right. So let's keep them at right, but we'll center them horizontally. Move them up just a little bit. If I want to put a border on my title, it basically would just be outside is all I need. Notice inside doesn't even show up because it's only one cell as far as it is concerned. And I can change the color of that border. Let's go to a dark orange. And I can change the look of the line. Let's make it very thick and hit OK. There we have a line around that cell itself. Let's go down to the bottom. And all I want to do now is just put a line underneath these cells. Format cells. And in this case, I now am going to use these boxes to identify where I want my lines to go, where I want my borders to be. So in this case, I want my border to be an underline, and I want it to be a double underline. That's this one over there. And we'll click OK. So I made it a double underline, I think, but I really didn't. Watch what happens here. I'm going to zoom in on this, and notice it's not a double underline. And notice around my box, it's not a thick line. What went wrong? Let's do this one more time. This time, let's pick what we want our line to be, double, then pick where I want the line to go, and now notice it does do the double underline, and that's what we get there. Go up to my name, my title box up here, format cells. I want it to be thick outside. Hit the OK. Now I get a thick outside border. So the sequence of events in this particular case, if you're changing the borders, pick the type of border you want first, then apply that type wherever you want it to go. So in a sense, I could have several different types, like in here, I could have several different types working on these cells. I could have my upper one being a dashed line, and my lower one, dashed line, but I could change it to double line, click on it again, and it becomes a double line, hit OK, and that's what I would see. Probably not the best looking one, but it gives you the example. Pick the line style first, then apply the line style where you want that line style to be applied on the border.